You are now live. All right. We're going to try this again. Couldn't get a connection with Erin a few minutes ago, so I reloaded the live. Wait for some people to jump on here. For those of you jumping on, this is going to be a live call with Erin Dubreuil. She is going to be jumping on here just a second. I'm going to try and establish a good connection this time. Hopefully we can figure this one out. Instagram likes to put the hate. There she is. Instagram likes to put the hate on us when we're trying to share good information about health and wealth and how to take care of yourself in a better way than what the doctors tell you. Doctors do today. They just plead the fifth after they ruin your life. Erin, the invite has been sent. Hopefully it works this time. Should not be expired, I'll tell you that. It says it was sent. Although, if you're still working with that iPhone, that could be the issue. Not to put you on blast, but I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's the 6. What do you got, like the 7? This is frustrating. It's that iPhone 6, I'm telling you. I've never had an issue with an Android. I'm just saying. The only reason why I never went with iPhone was the first time it blew up on someone's ear. I was like, nah, that's too much for me. I don't need that. That's crazy. It won't let me accept. It's gotta be that Nokia flip that you're trying to log on with. Might need Natalie. Or do you have what about your laptop? It works with your laptop. It immediately tells me the request has expired. I wonder if it's a setting, if it's an Nextel. That's fucked up. Erin, I'm gonna grab a string and cup, attach the string and cup to your phone, and we'll see if we can do it that way. I'll use the one can you hear me, Erin? Oh, she's gonna murder me the next time she sees me. I'm on my iPad. Can you resend? There we are. We've got multiple forms of, this is gonna make for some great blooper short form content. I just sent the invite again. Well, hopefully we can get this rolling. Again, tonight's call is going to be all about Erin. It's going to be all about highlighting what Erin has going on in her life, how she's overcome a tremendous amount of grief, loss, struggle, and just the PTSD and depression that comes from what most people go through that Erin has in her life. And I'm just excited to bring her on to share her story and what she's building in her life to really help others, not just from her personal story, but with her mission, her passion for helping others, her love for helping other people, and just her dedication to being unable to join this call. Dang it. Can't accept on my other one. She sent a request to be in your live. Okay, I just got a request from you, so let me see if this works. Go live. Come on. I'm telling you, yes. I try to help. You can try to help, Natalie, since if you're close, if it works, absolutely. I know Erin's a little nervous as it is, so this is probably not helping, but when we do get her on here, things will be good. I'm excited for you guys to hear her story, really. Another thing, too, I wanted to say, so the reason for these calls, these are not just bullshit calls. These are not just time-wasting calls. These are very strategic calls on my end. Highlight people who have been in my life, who are in my life, who are either business partners, in business with me, who are doing things in their life to help better the world and help speak truth to the world, who have overcome significant amounts of obstacles in their life and have allowed and watched God transition their life in magnificent ways. That's what these calls are about. It's about my connection and relationship to them, how fitness really built their life, how their connection to fitness keeps them going. Their ties, a lot of them to Alovéa, Acemannan, how they've overcome their health battles. These calls are really storytelling and story sharing to help others be able to understand that there's other ways out from what you're battling, what you're going through, whether it might be upstairs, inside, downstairs, internal, outside, whatever it might be. We have everyone going through everything, and there's testimonies that we have. Guys, that's why I'm bringing these people on. It's life-changing to hear these stories because it could affect you or someone you love. I'm going to go ahead and get Erin on here now, sending an invite to another one of my favorite people, Natalie Winslow. I think I pronounced it.
There we go.
Are you sweating?
No, I'm just a little frustrated that every time I try and accept it on my iPad, the iPad locks up. And when I try and accept it on my phone, as soon as I click go live with you, it tells me that the invitation has expired. And then when I try to send you a request, it doesn't work either. So thank you, Natalie.
Thank you for your 21st century phones are a lifesaver. Oh, and she dropped it.
Thank you. We're off to a great start.
We're killing it right now. We are absolutely killing it. No worries. Like I said, there's nothing behind this. Like Joe Bush talks about on his podcast with Jasper. We're not professionals here. We are professional storytellers. We are professional information sharers, and we are professionals at helping other people overcome obstacles in their life. For me personally, I'm a metabolic inflammation and recovery specialist. I help people overcome systematic problems inside their stomach that helps them lose weight, burn fat, build muscle, get healthy, think clear, have more energy. For you personally, you help people in the past or in the recent past with your yoga history that we'll get into, more flexibility, more movement, enjoy their spirit, open up their body, enjoy their body, And now you're transitioning into taking what you've gone through in your life and really turning it into your life calling, your walk with God right now that we'll get into, the grief and the loss and the suffering that you've had to overcome, the PTSD and depression that I had mentioned earlier before you came on the call, everything that's built you into the woman that you are, that the life that you're walking, the steps that you're walking in, and really what you have that I believe is truly awesome that I know about, that other people are going to find out about what you're about to offer to the rest of this world through this new venture that I don't want to give too much about yet, but this new venture that you have coming, and I'm excited to talk about it. Erin, I haven't known you that long. I've known you for, I would say, a good year of knowing you. We've been acquaintances for a couple of years since you joined Alovéa. But before we get into that, what, besides the frustration, it looks like you're in a cozy little spot there. Where are you? You're not home. Where I know home for you is Tampa, Florida. Home for me is Rochester, Minnesota, complete opposite ends. And that's the other cool thing is that this company brings people together from all over the place, you guys, and that's really awesome. Joe Bush lives over in Wisconsin. I'm in southern Minnesota. Erin here lives in Tampa, Florida, but you're not in Tampa. Where are you right now?
I think I still live in Florida, but I'm there so infrequently. I'm not sure, but that's still where I claim residence. But I'm in Branson, Missouri right now. I'm here for the Inspire conference with Alovéa on Friday and Saturday.
Awesome. What's going on there this weekend?
I came out early because already previously out of town working in Iowa, and so it just made sense to come here versus go home first. And I like to, there's a lot of stuff going on in Branson that I experienced last year, and I wanted to come out and spend a couple days here before all of the stuff with Alovéa kicked off. So
I did not make it to Branson last year, which I was disappointed about. That was Sam Castor's birthday celebration. Sam Castor being the owner and founder of Alovéa and bringing the Acemannan technology to us, which is how we're all together here and just thriving in our health and our lives. And also what brings our mission that much more powerful to helping other people. But Erin, what with this weekend in Branson with this Inspire, what are you hoping that God, the community, or just the Inspire event itself, what are you hoping that confirms for you while you're there?
So I really enjoy coming to all of these Alovéa events because I have become very close with a lot of people in this company. Everyone was just so welcoming and accepting from day one. It's just felt like I've been welcomed into this big family. And every time I come here, I get to reconnect with those people and be re-inspired by those people and hear testimonies and hear Sam and Linda's story, which I've heard 5-6 times now, but I never get sick of hearing it because they tell different details every time. Like it's the same story, but they include different pieces each time that they tell it. And so I could listen to it 100 times and not be sick of it. And it fills my cup, and we can't serve from an empty cup. So I feel like I really enjoy being here.
So what is it when you get to one of these events like this with Alovéa, what is that initial feeling like when you arrive? You already talked about you already in that, but now Natalie is there. You've got others coming, other of our team members, the ladies that you love talking to every day via text, via communications. Now you get to see them for the whole weekend. When you start to see them in your face, and you see it and you smile, what does that initial connection just do for you? What does it do for your soul?
It's so exciting and it's just fulfilling. Like Natalie and Steph just got here maybe 10 minutes ago, and I gave both of them a huge hug, and they're like, "You're going to do so good. Don't be nervous." But I'm like, I want to hang out with my friends. So they're staying with me. Teresa's staying with us. And then Natalie has a friend, Tanya, that we will be meeting for the first time that's staying here as well.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
We have a good group of girls. And Steph has 2 other people that are staying at the same resort that we're at. They got their own room, but they'll be hanging out here with us as well. So
that's
I feel like it'll be a powerful connection of women coming together, and we all love Jesus. And so I'm really excited to get to meet the girls that I don't know yet and spend time with the ones that I already love.
That's awesome. No, I know from my experience too, Linda Castor, Sam's wife, always does those amazing events. Love with Linda and the Linda specials where you get to just be one-on-one with her, and those are absolutely amazing. I've actually sat in on 2 of those, not being a lady, but I've been like, hey, but she's absolutely incredible. Just getting to hear and sit around them and just the wisdom that they share from who they are, it changes who you are inside, how your perspective of other people. And for someone like myself who wasn't always a giver and wasn't always someone that was so generous inside and wanting to give and help other people, it really opened me up to listen to their stories. But one of the things that I want people to understand about you in particularly is that your desire to help others, this started way before you began to chase a business desire, a business venture, or call yourself a potential coach. And I think that's very powerful. You're constantly checking on people That's one of the things I know about you. You're constantly helping people. I can attest to that myself. You're just a giver. It's absolutely incredible to just talk about the type of soul that you have. One quick piece. How much do you love animals?
I love them so much. When I go
That
for
is
walks in the
so.
park, I always say good morning to all the creatures. And everybody on here already knows my immense love for dogs.
Yes,
So,
we will get into that. You are an animal watcher for your friends. I guess I could just throw a little promotion. If you're in the Tampa area looking for a trustworthy person to watch your cats or dogs for the weekend, Erin Dubreuil, look her up. She loves your
yeah,
dogs
but Erin
already.
Dubreuil isn't home very often right now in the next few months. July, honestly, has been a blur. I don't even know what day we're on anymore. And
It's,
August and September are looking to be set up very much the same. So
it's
put a
August.
pin in that, but I can't confirm that I'll be home.
Well, I know you love watching animals. I know you love being around the animals. And again, it's a testament to your spirit. I have 9-year-old twin daughters, and in the same realm, they are teaching me when I walk outside and I hear the dog across the street. I'm like, God, knock it off. And they're just like, oh, hi, baby. And I'm just like, I guess we can respond a little differently. It changes. And so it's just the love for animals, just your love for people. I know that's one thing that people talk about, especially when you're not around them, is that people miss you. People miss your presence. People miss when you are not heard from, when you're not at these particular events, or when you're quiet, when you're in your quiet zones, especially I know when you were going through some of your tougher seasons, in which we will get to those. For you personally, do you think you naturally notice when others are just not okay?
I don't know how or why, but yes.
Don't take the next question out of my mouth. What is it?
Ability, I guess. I don't know in each sense.
What is it that you want a person to feel after they're done being in your presence?
Seen, heard, accepted, not judged, loved.
I would say that's all the qualities of what leads into a phenomenal life coach, in which we're going to get into next. First, we're going to touch on, for the last probably, 7 to 10 years, how long have you been doing yoga?
Doing about 13 or 14, teaching 12.
Okay, I knew it was right about the 10-year mark. And what got you into yoga to begin with? Why yoga? Some people do Pilates, some people do strength training and bodybuilding, some people like running. Natalie loves running. Some people like just basic walking. Some people are couch potatoes, but some people love yoga. They love the stretching, the flexibility, the openness of it, the spirit release. Why yoga for you?
I had a friend that I worked with at a restaurant. I was a hostess and she was a server, and she became a yoga teacher. And so she was constantly promoting that on her Facebook. And at the time, I have a very hot and cold relationship with my little sister, and we were very close growing up. And the older we got, it was a little up and down for different reasons, but we were fighting a lot, and that was causing a lot of stress, and work was stressing me out. So I was really just looking for an outlet for stress relief and mobility, flexibility. So I started going to her yoga classes and started following her around to different places that she was teaching yoga, and loved the way that it made me feel and the peace and the calm that I experienced from it. And I decided that I wanted to explore following in her footsteps and becoming a yoga teacher.
I guess that's the best way to really, I guess, get introduced into that in my mind, only because I like the idea of yoga. When I was stretching in the gym, I know certain yoga poses, but there's just something that holds most people back, I think, from initially stepping into a yoga session. I think it is somewhat intimidating in the same sense of someone stepping into the gym. You got heat sessions, you got the stretches, it's just that, I don't know, it's the uncomfortability, but that's, I guess, finding someone who can basically walk you through those steps and that you can take that comfortability with. That's a really neat way to get introduced to that. But what did yoga?
Well, to touch on two of the things that you just said, I think a very common misconception is people think that they have to be flexible to do yoga, when really it is the opposite. You do yoga to become flexible. And also, speaking about being intimidated, like, I've been doing yoga for years, but I'm still intimidated when I go into the gym. Like, I have stuck to group fitness classes, and like the class side of things, I don't know how to use most of those machines. So I walk in there, and even though there's instructions there, I still feel very intimidated knowing my way around. So it works both ways. That's
very true. No, then again, that's where my relatability was going there. I think you saw that. So thank you for touching on that. Coaching yoga, teaching yoga, instructing yoga, the proper terminology for that. You can address that here in a second. What did that teach you most about people other than their flexibility and their poses? Like, did yoga start to teach you things about people that made you start to shift to think, I can actually help people more than just, hey, do a cat's pose and do the bending? Did it
Yes.
taught you more about people?
Absolutely. So, one of the things that we learned is that the limitation is not necessarily in the body, but that starts in the mind. So, one of the things that my teacher used to say, the way she would lead her classes would be, can you do this? And I invite you to do that, and exploring different movements or different postures without forcing them, because you don't want to force the body, because that's how you get hurt. Just that verbiage gives you that permission. I don't know, can I do that? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Just finding out where your limitations are. And often one time might be tighter than the other, or vice versa. And just being able to notice the asymmetries that present themselves in the body, being aware of your body, aware of your breath, moving with your breath, things like that. I learned so much about anatomy and physiology, about the nervous system, regulating your nervous system. I learned that everything works together. So your mental and your emotional health also play into your physical health. And if those things aren't addressed, then they can manifest physically. And that's where dis-ease and chronic illness and things like that can come from.
So would you say that yoga really helped you start to figure out, or not really figure out, but gave you a sense of how to people pick their phones up without dropping it? Welcome back. You dropped me in my face twice now.
Just trying to keep it interesting.
So would you say that with your yoga experience, did that help you start to begin to experience like a sense of how to help people reconnect their bodies, not just physically, but start to prepare them how to reconnect internally too?
I think so. And I've been told, I've gotten a lot of compliments from students as far as the cadence of my voice and the way that I deliver instruction. So I think that it is a very welcoming, calming setting. I think that being a yoga teacher really taught me how to lead people and how to give clear guidance and clear instruction, and how helped me to fine tune holding that safe space for people.
Oh, absolutely.
And the world wants us to constantly fight about the differences that we have and the ways that we're different, when really we have more in common and more similarities than us.
You might be new to calling yourself a coach, but I can tell you through what we've just been talking about right now, you've been coaching people through life for a long time. And that's a big reason why I wanted to bring you on here. I had mentioned this before the call started, that a big reason for these calls is to highlight the incredible journey that these people are on. Erin in particular, Joe with my last call, Mike with his coaching business, and I've got several others lined up. But with Erin here, just her ability to shift from one venture to another while connecting the pieces and the dots of her God-given calling. And that's what we're going to get into here next. But before we jump too far ahead, we're going to have to go back a few steps. And I truly believe that your calling for helping other people, and we've had this conversation too, has really stemmed from what you've actually gone through in your personal life. I don't want this to be a, hey guys, I've got Erin Dubreuil here. She's a grief, loss, and depression PTSD coach. This is Erin Dubreuil, who has been through some of the worst life situations, to be honest, some of the worst life losses that you can imagine that do bring on depression, PTSD, suffering, isolation, the loss of desire to want to go on yourself. And we're going to touch on some of this, and we'll go as deep on this as you want to. We're not going to do a 5-minute segment. We're going to keep it just real interactive, but also real educational for why I believe this has brought you full circle into this life coaching opportunity that you are basically walking into. When I say walking into, folks, this lady is, I'm talking flying into this. I'm talking late nights, overnight trainings from like overseas. They're doing productions overseas, and she's overnight.
I have another one coming up.
See what's on. So
I have another one coming up. That's 2 nights.
That's incredible. This is not just someone saying, "Hey, what I'm tired of doing yoga and I don't want to." And I think I want to know. This is someone that's saying, "Hey, I'm following God's calling. I'm following what people are in my life are saying is good for me and what's best for me and what they're seeing in me." And that's what this call is all about. This is me just highlighting what I believe is a true calling for you. And just because of how you've helped me and how I've watched you help others, how you inspire me with your journey and what you're doing, who you are as a person. But getting into a little bit of the darker side of this, there is a depth in the way that you understand people that does not come from textbook. And when I talk about that, it's having to do with devastating loss from suicide, you guys. And that is something that Erin has suffered significantly in her life. And not just, I have a couple of friends that I have lost and that I've had to say goodbye to through the suffering of suicide. Erin has lost significant family members, including a mother, a sister, and an aunt. And when I hear these stories, it's heartbreaking. It truly is. I want to try and keep this as uplifting as possible. I know this is emotional for you, Erin, and I know coming into this was going to be tough for you to begin with, but let's just get on the table. What did losing your mother, your sister, and your aunts, the way you did, what did it help? How did it help you understand life, safety, and your own identity?
Well, just to give a little background and context, all three of them suffered with alcoholism, depression. So it was difficult to watch those things growing up and to constantly want to be able to help people that either weren't able to receive that help or didn't want that help or couldn't get out of their own way, accept that help. I lost my mom when I was 14 and my sister was 11. And I went into shock for 2 years, to be honest. Like, I cried when we first found out, but I didn't even cry at the funeral. And I remember people telling me it's okay to cry, it's okay to be upset. And I felt nothing at the time. Like, I didn't have it in me. And it hit me randomly like 2 years later. And I broke down and cried for like 2 weeks because I realized that I was never going to see her again. And we did not have the greatest relationship. Growing up, I had a very tumultuous relationship with my mom because people don't realize kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for, and they understand and see what is going on. And she let us down a lot. I'm sure let herself down, but I was always closer to my dad. My sister was always closer to my mom. I was mad at her a lot for different things. But when she decided to take her own life, I don't think my sister ever recovered from that. And my aunt was always the closest to us growing up. Her and my mom were very close. She was constantly around. She was also my godmother. And she had bipolar. So she was constantly on different medications. She was on lithium for a long time. And they were constantly changing out her medication. And so because of those life circumstances, she could not have children of her own. So my sister and I were like her kids. And I think when we lost my mom, that really took a toll on her as well. And she took her own life when I was 24. And there was one time in particular, I remember my sister and I happened to be down the street from her house years before that happened. And we decided we were just going to stop in to surprise her and pop in and say hi unannounced. And it was probably a God thing because we saved her life that day. Yeah. She had taken all of her medication. And when we got there, she was out of it. Her eyes were dilated. I had to call my other aunt, the ambulance. And after that, they would only prescribe her a week's worth of medication at a time to prohibit that from happening again. And so 24, she took her own life. And that was really hard too. And then just recently, my sister, last March, after years and years of struggling and different substance abuse, she was not in the right state of mind, but she took her own life too. And so everybody's struggling with something, right? And we're all dealing with battles that we don't show the world and that we don't discuss. So that's why I choose to lead with love, and every act of kindness goes further than we realize.
Huge. No, I just want to say thanks for sharing that. Obviously, we talked before this about your openness and willingness to go as deep with this as you wanted. And I personally believe that your story matters. I believe that it connects you to your potential avatar, your potential clients, even just someone who says, hey, I don't really want the coaching. I just want a friend. I just would like someone that maybe wants to allow me into their friend chat, their group chat. You're that person. You are. I don't know many people like that.
That's really important because I think that not everybody is looking for a solution. Sometimes people are just looking to be heard.
Yes.
And I read or I heard somewhere that it only takes 8 minutes of connection with another human being for us to feel better.
That's huge. Say that again.
It's 8 minutes of being present with someone to help them feel better.
That is huge. That's powerful. When we're talking about connection, what about when we talk about the connection with God? Through that grief and loss and suffering, were there times where you questioned whether or not God was still there for you? Because I know now your love for God is incredible. The way that He just takes over. I tell you what, look at my eyes. He takes over. I get emotional, you guys. I love God. I love Jesus. He's taken over my life too.
We talked about that.
It's a really powerful thing. And just watching your walk right now with God is really cool. But were there times thank you. Were there times during those seasons where you just questioned whether he was there? whether or not he was there for you, or have you always, was that just a foundation for you that said it helped bring you through?
I will say growing up, we were not a very religious household. Like we said grace at dinner, we said prayers before, we didn't go to church regularly. Like I always believed in something bigger than myself, but the older I got, I didn't really know what that was. I did not have a close relationship with God. And for a long time, it was the universe, right? And now I've heard somewhere that why are we thanking the creation instead of thanking the creator? And so that really stuck with me.
Amen.
So now whenever I hear someone say something about the universe, I'm like,
You mean God? And I'll be honest, I was the same way.
My walk with God has really only been strong and present over the last few years. So I came to God in a very roundabout way. During 2020 with the pandemic and all of that, I was also down all the rabbit holes on child trafficking. And you realize that there's a lot of evil in the world and the evil is real. And there's just so many layers to that. And learning those things and seeing that darkness scared me directly to him. And so I started reading my Bible, and different family members were getting rebaptized. And so the conversation had come up several times about me considering getting baptized. And so I started to look around and see what that entails. And the church where I went to get baptized, ultimately, I'd only been there once to vote. That's the only reason I knew they were there. I wasn't even attending church there yet, but they had a form on their website. So I filled it out and they gave me a call and chatted with me for like 20 minutes. And they were like, when do you want to come in? Do you want to come in on Sunday? And I said, sure. And they said, all right, well, we can do it at the 11 a.m. service. Who do you want to baptize you? And I said, I didn't know anybody there. I said, whoever God chooses. And so that was actually 2 years and 2 days ago. So I just had my 2-year anniversary of my baptism on the 28th. But thank you. I would say my walk with God has really ramped up over the last 3 months. And it's been very evident that he is at work in my life and that we are in a season of refinement and transition and growth. And he is closing doors and opening doors. And I'm just trying to keep my arms and legs inside the vehicle while Jesus takes the wheel. Is what I keep telling everyone. Amen. But just being open to things that I didn't even know to ask for and doors that I didn't even know to knock on and see where it takes me, honestly. Yeah. So to circle back to the whole grieving question, I didn't really have that relationship with him, with my mom and my aunt. But I will say I did when my sister passed, and it made it significantly easier to deal with and to get through having him. And I was never mad at him when she passed. It was, I understand that we have free will, and that was her decision to do that. It was not God taking her away. I was never mad at him, but I feel like the closeness that I feel with him now made that easier to get.
Oh, 100%. That's awesome. Again, I butted in there a little bit, but congratulations again on your baptism. This about me, but my 2-year anniversary for my baptism was April of this year. So it's just a really cool feeling. And I think from personal experience too, baptism is just a start. It's a rough and key road after that, but the more you believe and the more you trust, the better things happen. It's just the guidance comes along, the light starts to show, and you really start to get in full tune with your calling.
And I just want to take a minute to say that I am really thankful and grateful for you, particularly because I feel like we are in similar seasons right now. And even though our walks and our journeys are very personal and very different, it's just been very comforting to have someone that's going through it at the same time, to be able to chat with about that. And
absolutely. And again,
meaningful.
Absolutely. Our friendship and partnership in business, all of it is a big reason why I brought you on here. I invited you on here, especially with where you are right now, just saying, hey, I knew you would be more than willing to take the time out of your day, out of your life to say, absolutely, let's jump on a call. Let's talk. Let's just have a conversation, share stories, a few tears, some laughs. It's more than worth it, especially for the people that are going to witness this and see it. I just truly believe that you have something to offer the world. And with that, do you believe that all that pain that you survived and suffered through, do you believe it gave you any more of like a special ability or brought out that ability for you to really recognize other people who are quietly suffering?
I think so. And it's also walking with God has given me a different perspective on all of it. And instead of viewing things like this is happening to me, why is this happening to me? I am now coming to understand that this is happening for me and that there is purpose and preparation in the pain, and that everything we go through is ultimately for a higher purpose. And like you and I have talked about off camera, like he leads us out of the darkness so that we can go back in to lead other people out.
100%. I have talked about it like that as well. Your purpose and your calling, going through and growing through some of the worst situations in your life, and everybody's is different, and just taking God's hand to get out of the darkness and then walking back into it to shed light on others. That is truly, I believe, is how you discover your purpose and your calling. But what would you say to someone right now who feels directionless after a loss that, like, you've gone through several of them? What would you say to someone right now seeing this that's like, wow, I've gone through this too. How on earth is she still smiling? How is she still thriving? How did she get through that? And I'm not able to do this. What would you say to someone like that? What would you say to me if I'm going through the same thing right now?
That you have to feel it to heal it. And I feel like a lot of people tend to want to run away from the pain and run away from the problems and numb it and not feel it and avoid it. And that just compounds it. And it's just going to continue to keep showing up until you deal with it. So I'm currently in a season of feeling my feelings, and it's been very healing. For a long time, I smoked marijuana, a lot of it, heavily, all the time. And the last time I smoked was May 3rd of this year. And with all of the alcoholism in my family, I never felt I had an issue personally with alcohol. But you watch it destroy enough people that you love and care about, and it loses its appeal. And so I gave up drinking almost 3 years ago. That'll be 3 years in January, and I don't miss it at all. Thank you. But I feel like there is a such thing as generational curses, and that stops with me.
Yes. 100%.
That commitment that it stops here.
That's something that I have been focused on directly in my life as well, that I have been alcohol free for 10 years. Used to run a bar back in the day. When I found out I was having twin daughters, asked myself, what's one thing I can quit out of my life for good, forever, never touch it again, that toxifies my body and ruins my life? Chose alcohol. I don't do narcotics and drugs and all that. I'm an active THC user, and I have been for my whole life. I use it medicinally for my own purposes, and to each their own on that. But alcohol, it's unacceptable in my personal life. And I used to be the person that used to turn people down for it. If to each their own. If you want to enjoy it, that's on you. For me personally, I know it affects my body and my mind and my focus and my future very negatively. And I know that as a coach, to help other people metabolically, cellularly, to heal their body inside and out, one of the first things I tell them is ditch that poison, get rid of the liquor. You'll feel much better. And the first place to start, even if it's just a weekend bevy, just tell people, do your thing, to each their own. But if you're looking to truly get healthy, that's the first thing I like to present to people, is to just get rid of the alcohol. So proud of you for 3 years clean. Again, 10 years myself. It's not the dog on anybody else. As a coach, I just present it that way. I'm very proud of myself. Again, I don't look at the next person over and say, oh, you're a turd for drinking. No, go out and have your drinks, but just understand, when you're looking to try and get healthy and you're coming to me for answers as a coach, that's going to be my approach. Is alcohol is just something that will literally hinder your results. So I'm glad we got out. Go ahead.
Another thing I would say to somebody struggling is that even the small wins are still wins. So on the days that you don't want to get out of bed and you force yourself to get out of bed, if you don't want to shower, at least brush your teeth. If you don't want to go to the gym, at least take yourself for a walk. Like the little things do matter, and they do help. And you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step. Like some days it's just one day at a time. Sometimes it's one moment at a time. But like someone just said in the comments, he's using our worst situations for us and others. Like our testimony, like you've talked about this before, like the fruit that our labor is producing is rarely for us. Like our testimony is to help other people.
100%. And that's something I have been guilty of in my life for a very long time, and that I've actually come into open acknowledgement about. I saw it actually from Steve Weatherford, a very influential ex-NFL player, ex-punter, and now a man of God who's just an influencer on social media, I guess you could say. But he runs a lot of like men's groups. He brings men in to try and bring you closer to God, figure out who you are as a man, as a leader, as a father, that type of a thing. But one thing I heard him talk about that really jumped out to me was, like you just said, we build this tree full of fruit, right? But a lot of times what we catch ourselves doing is picking the fruit to eat it ourselves. And I caught myself there not too long ago, realizing that's where over the course of these years, I could have helped with a lot more people. I wish I would have helped a lot more people, but it's just coming into full recognition that I need to stop eating my fruit and lay it out for other people. That's what this call really is, you guys. It's not to brag on anything. It's not to boast about anything. We're gonna highlight the shit out of Acemannan here in a minute, and the Alovéa Hope movement. But this is to really highlight struggles in people's lives, what they bring to the table and offer as human beings, how we connected as human beings, and just give other people an opportunity to find someone to connect to. Because I believe truly that's honestly what life's purpose is about, is connecting with other human beings. And for me personally, this is not about me, but to drop in a little short form content. These calls for me personally are to help build relationship mindset relationships with myself. I am stuck in business mode relationship with everybody. When I look at a human being, I want to do business. How can I help you? How can I fix you? What do you need? I don't often remember first names anymore. I don't remember where you're from, what your favorite color is, what we had to eat last week. That's a problem for me. So these calls are really helping me understand through and through who somebody is and how to build a new perspective of relationship mindset to really remember how to connect with people in a different way. Because I can teach you how to build muscle, lose weight, and build your macro schedule like nobody's business. But I want to know more about the people's problems. I want to help them fix the issues they have in their life. I want to be someone that people come to. So you are someone who I have connected with in this last year that has really opened my ability to see the perspective differently in people. So not to draw light on myself, it was to basically say, hey, thank you for being the person that you are, connecting with me and offering your friendship, your help, your companionship, just really seeing the brighter side of me. Again, that's why I see you as a life coach already. You see things in other people that they don't already see. You help bring out light. You see frustration seasons and say, hey, this is what I actually see if you do this, or if you see it this way, if you trust this. And just the incredible amount of scripture and passage and trust in God's love and guidance. And for you to say that only the last 3 months has been where you've really come on strong, kudos to you, because I would have thought you were a minister's daughter or something. Really, it's powerful. It really is. And I used to think it was negative in a sense to be overly sharing about scriptures and passages and all that because of how I was dogged on when I first got baptized by the people I was around. I'm not going to name drop. I'm not afraid to say it. I was treated very poorly after I was baptized. It gave me a false sense of direction. I wanted to keep my mouth shut. Now I can't stop talking about Jesus because every Sunday I take my kids to church and every Wednesday night they're begging me to go back. It's a whole different experience when you truly get to dive into God's love, God's word, and understand his calling and purpose. So for me personally, connecting with someone like you to understand that it is enlightening, and it builds belief in myself to say, hey, this is the right direction I'm going. This is God's direction. And with God's direction, he brought us together through his most incredible business venture I can honestly say on the face of the planet, because you can't find another molecule that he's blessed us with that's doing exactly what we're doing around the world.
His hand is on this company for sure.
It built this company. It is the God's grace from the green earth, you guys, and it is absolutely incredible. We're talking about Alovéa, you guys. Erin and I are connected through Alovéa. I've been a part of this company from the beginning that I can recall. It was Evolve, and then it turned into Alovéa, and I came back after some personal disconnection reasons. Erin's been a part of this now for 2 years.
About 2.5.
2.5 years. And with that, like myself as an Alovéa Pro, a sponsored pro coach, Erin is also an Alovéa Pro. Congratulations on that. I first really connected with Erin in North Carolina last year at our inaugural Alovéa Pros event, which Craig Smith, Ann Smith, if you guys ever see this or are watching this, I'm going to tag you. We need another one of those, please, a secondary Alovéa Pros event. There is some significant things building with us pros, and I really believe that the next wave of growth is coming very soon. So love having you as an Alovéa Pro. Love seeing what you're doing in the business. And honestly, I'm
And I was encouraged by people on my team because I didn't even think that I qualified. I was like health professionals, coaches, trainers, athletes, and then one day Joel was like, you should apply to be a pro. And I was like, he's like, you're a yoga instructor, you qualify. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Joe Bush was like, are you coming to the pros event? And I was like, no, I'm not a pro. And he's like, well, you qualify. I was like, okay. So I applied and here we are.
Awesome. And guys, this Alovéa Pros event, our pros program, is so special. Alovéa is basically taking normal people like us who are helping other people already in our lives, yoga instructor, fitness coach, personal trainer, hairstylist, we've got practitioners. They're taking people in their personal, professional lives and sponsoring them with their Acemannan and Alovéa AE food technology to help enhance the ability to help their clients, their customers, their friends, their family, and people around them. And it has honestly been the most life-changing opportunity that I can speak on. I cannot wait to do another podcast with Craig. I cannot wait to get back to another event. I'm a third-year pro myself. It is the most incredible feeling. Just talk about, Erin, when you received the box, that official box of goodies that you chose out yourself to be an Alovéa Pro. What is that feeling like?
I almost don't feel deserving of it, honestly. It's like, me? You chose me? You think that I am worthy?
And why is that? Would you say it's because of what's in these products? Would you say it's because of that one molecule? Or would you say it's personally tied to your deeper purpose in this company, which has to do with where we send this molecule, when we take it ourselves, and how we help children around the world?
Oh, that definitely was a factor for sure. Like when I first was into Alovéa through Joel Bauman, I did my research. I watched the interviews that he did with Sam Castor. I went through the whole website up and down, and that was a huge factor to just be able to be a voice for the voiceless and to help those that are otherwise helpless, and to know that I am helping myself get healthy and improving my quality of life. But at the same time, I could be using other products that don't do nearly what our products do, but those products aren't also feeding and saving kids.
Yes.
And these are.
Speaking of feeding and saving kids, how many times have you been to Mexico?
Just one.
I have not been yet. Everyone I'm going to bring on here has been, and I'm going to say it the same way. How many times have you? I'm so envious. That's the only thing I'm really envious of anybody in this business venture, is those who have been around the children in Mexico, those who have been around Vicente Fox and his wife, those who have experienced that week-long stay away from society, away from the norm, around children who don't see life the way we do, who don't have the same opportunities, who don't have the same nourishment, and don't have the same lifestyles. What is it like, Erin? First off, what is it like when you first get off that plane in Mexico? I know it's a puddle jump here, there, blah, blah, but when you get to Mexico, in the heart of Mexico, and you're there, and you're there, you made it. What's the feeling like?
I was greeted at the airport by the CEO. The CEO, Sam Castor, was there waiting for all of us, making sure that everybody got in and got on their shuttles and made it to where we were supposed to be. And I think that that's huge.
Yes.
And it changes, it makes it real. It's not just pictures on a computer screen anymore. Like, it gives a face and a name to the people that we're helping and serving. And when we first went to the first community center, they had been there in previous years. And when we pulled up in those buses, they were cheering for us. Like, they were excited that we were there. And some of the kids remembered other people from Alovéa from previous years, and they were so excited to see them. And there was one little girl in particular that, unbeknownst to me, the year before was missing her arm. And it was Joe Bush's team who went above and beyond to fundraise the money on their own accord to buy that little, and to just see how happy and excited she was. And according to everyone else, how more outgoing she was and less shy and less withdrawn. It was huge. They had a little production for us, had gifts for us, had gifts for them. It was so heartwarming and touching, and just, I don't know, I can't say enough good things about it. And then another standout moment was meeting Emma, which is Octavio's daughter. And yes, she's the inspiration behind the Mighty Milk and how that all got started. And that's the nourishment that the kids are getting in these community centers and these orphanages and these rehabilitation hospitals. And the rehabilitation hospital that they're partnered with through Vicente Fox and Marta Fox's organization, Vamos Mexico, is called Charisma. And it's a rehabilitation hospital, I believe, for traumatic brain injury. But the parents there had written thank you letters for us because of the improvement and the change in the quality of life for their kids. That's
when I talk about Mexico, I've got these envisionments of seeing the kids being around it, because obviously I've got 3 kids myself, and the Acemannan technology, the way that it has changed my kids' lives, it is driving me to build everything I can in my life to get down there. It's a really cool opportunity too, because when I talk about it, it's like in your visa, if you don't have one of those, your passport. But other than that, the company pours all of the costs and the finances of what it costs to actually go to Mexico right back into your account to spend back into the company. So it's just such an awesome experience. I'm jealous again. Like I said, I hate to use the word. I'm envious. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. You not only joined Alovéa for the children, because of the children, you dove square into it and said, I'm going. whatever it takes, I'm on the next flight. I'm on the next group.
Yeah.
It was a
I
small
did
amount
all
of
of the
people.
trips last
Yeah.
year. Every trip that was offered, it was my goal to go to all of them, and I successfully did that.
What would you, coming back from Mexico, how did it change the way you wanted to present this business and this product, this molecule, this opportunity? How did it change the way you were going to start moving forward and talking about it?
To be perfectly honest, I've been hesitant to share because I feel like people don't know what ACE is, so and skeptical to listen about it and to try it. And so I am working through that within myself to be bolder, to speak up, to use my voice, to not gatekeep these things, because that was initially what inspired me to join as a social business partner before I even became a pro. Was you hear the testimonies of the people in the company and the people that they've helped, and it almost, like you've said before and like I've said in the past, it almost feels like you're doing a disservice to the other people around you. Like you hear people, for me it was people at work talking about, oh, my back hurts, my knee hurts, this hurts, that hurts, and I'm like, I have something that could help.
Yeah.
I have something that will help you, and not only will it help you, it will help all of these kids too. And we have a whole catalog of products, and they're all lifestyle enhancing products that you're probably already using. But if you were to just swap out the products that you're using for the products that we're offering, you're helping us to feed and save kids. And I guarantee the ingredients and what we have to offer are better than what you're using anyway.
100%. And it's, for me personally, it's why I stand behind it as well, and have for the entire duration of being a part of this company. My involvement in the company early on had to do with the financial aspects, but I have been taking Acemannan for as long as it's been available for us. I believe 7 years now, approaching that 10-year mark. And in the very beginning, it was a limitless product, which is Betalins, which helps drive down inflammation. Oh yeah, I will send that to you, brother. I was going to reach out to you, Erin, not to jump off that, but this comment here at the bottom, this guy here in particular, his sister actually is in her mid-30s and she suffers from MS. And I know her personally, and it's a family that I've been wanting to reach out to about this. But I've actually helped 3 of my own clients with MS have significant changes in their life. And it's one thing that I talk about personally, just because it's the people that I've helped. Every one of my coaching clients, my coaching business stems from Alovéa. My life stems from Alovéa, my body, my physique. Yes, I put in work. Yes, I work out hard. Yes, I have systematic, practical systems in place for how I strength train, creatine use, whatever that might be. Alovéa allowed my body to start actually processing the information and communicating the way that it needed to. And that's where a lot of people are missing the point of what Acemannan actually does. It's not a miracle cure. It doesn't heal. It just tells your body, remember when we used to communicate a certain way to do a certain thing, but now we've gotten older and trashed it with this certain crap and that certain stuff? Well, when we allow our body to navigate through that stuff and open the light, your body remembers how to do certain things and navigate and communicate in a certain way. And you start
And it's not even necessarily everything that you're doing. It's all of the talks that we hit with every day from every aspect. Quality of the air, the quality of the water, the quality of the food, like everything is working against us.
100%. And I know you are someone who has really helped me understand a lot of this as well, you just said, but everything from the sky, it's everything from the water. We just got to notice just now that apparently, I saw an article, apparently Iran has toxified 30 of the water systems in Minnesota, and that's the story they're going with. So apparently 30 water systems throughout Minnesota have been tainted and poisoned, I guess, if you want to call it that. Don't take the word direct, but go on Google and look it up, and they're blaming it on another country. So like you said, it's everywhere. We're unknowingly drinking water that has been cyber attacked and contaminated. It's in the air, it's in our food, it's in the drinks. So again, when they see us drinking this stuff every single time on these live feeds, it's not just one person, 2 people. It's not just me in the gym. It's not just you during yoga. There's a specific reason, because the more that you plug these natural molecules into your body to detoxify, heal, and allow your body to communicate the proper way, it gets rid of all that other junk and doesn't allow your body to want to process that. So,
and I've had people ask, like, well, how long do you take it? How long am I supposed to take this for? And for me, it's a lifestyle. Like, once you switch over to buying organic produce, are you going to go back to not buying organic produce? Once you start eating grass-fed, grass-finished beef, are you going to go back to eating a lesser quality meat? Like, just,
It's funny you say that, because I had a business meeting last night and I didn't get out of there in time to get to one of the grocery stores. So I thought I'll just pop into Quick Trip and grab I love getting their container of the already pulled chicken that they cook and everything. It's a good price. It's good quality meat. But then I needed some bananas. I turned around and I was like, it's not organic, but I'm only going to grab 4, right? It's just 4. It only lasts me 2 days. I only ate one, half of one, and I threw the rest of it away. And even my kids were like, did you just throw that away? I'm like, it tastes like rubber. It was a non-organic banana, and it did not even taste like real food. It just, I'm sorry, but like you said, once you go organic, you never go back. And everyone, you can take that pun however you want. It's just the way, that's a funny old one. But going back to your calling, Erin, your coaching, what you're walking into, what would it mean for you with Alovéa, with how we nourish children, with how this company backs you as a pro? You're climbing the ranks. You just hit 2K. For those who, yes, we're talking Ponzi schemes. It works. We're a group here. We're a community of people who help each other. And
I hate that, though. I hate that.
know,
There's so
but
many people that have the misconception that we're just some multi-level marketing company, and there is an aspect of that, yes. But what I tell them is we're actually a social benefit corporation.
yes.
And we use the profit from the for-profit company to fund the nonprofit that is feeding these kids. So it helps us to aggressively give more. That is
Yeah.
the whole point and purpose.
And that's exactly it. And that's it. This company, the whole directive, the reason why I came back, especially when Sam Castor took over, was because all I heard about was the money coming in was going all back out. And all they've done in the 7 years that I've been back into this company full go is all I've heard about is how the commissions and the payout is more so, and not even the business aspect. It's all in product wise. Buy some products. Here's more money back in your account to pay for more products later on.
Right.
So you did this. Here's
Refer
more money back.
Friends. Here's some credits for your next order.
This company is just driven in a way that I've never seen before on giving back to humanity, giving back to the community, giving back to the people who actually care about helping other people. Like the Alovéa PRO's program to sponsor us the way that they do is huge, to be honest. It's not a small amount of products that they're giving us to literally do whatever we want with. But the fact that they know, love, and trust that we're going to present this the right way and continue building it, it's laying out the fruit and allowing us to choose what to do with it. Do we eat the fruit ourselves, or do we do what the people above us are showing us to do, and do we allow that fruit out? That's why I love the pros program. It's built me into a new human being every single year I've been a part of it. So for you, what would it mean though to build a life coaching business that not only helps other people, but in return is literally saving children? What does that mean to you?
I feel like I am here because God brought me here. Like Joe Bush and I have had this conversation before, and he said, like, this opportunity did not fall into your lap by accident. You were not here by mistake, and you absolutely deserve to make a full-time income saving kids. And it hasn't left me since he said that. And the whole being on this journey with Jesus and doors opening and doors closing, the yoga side of things is a door that he is calling me to close. And I haven't really discussed that publicly. And that was something that I struggled with for a good year and a half, as to different changing of feelings and perspective. And that's a door that is closing, that has closed. And life coaching was never on the bingo card, as the kids say these days. That came out of left field. And I feel like that's a God thing too. And I'm at a point in my life where whatever I'm doing, I just want to be walking in the assignments that I feel he is giving me. And I want everything to bring him the glory and lead everyone back to him.
I love that.
And I feel like this company is a perfect place and a perfect way to do that.
Absolutely. What Joe and I have talked about too. Shout out Joe left and right. He's not even on the call, but shout out Joe Bush. Joe Bush, everybody. Shout out.
Well, Teresa's on the call, and he's with Teresa, so.
Shout out Joe and Teresa. What's up, guys? Same thing with Erin, with me. My entire life, Alovéa has literally structured the foundation of my entire life. Like I said, I'm a third-year pro. That means more to me than people even realize. It means more to me than I used to realize. But my children, we all go through certain seasons that brings us to light in different ways. And like, we have some viewers on here, and we have some close friends, Maddie, Max, other people that have kids, Teresa, Natalie. The way that they're watching these products help their children. Natalie's son is the greatest runner in Wisconsin. Like, what is going on here? These athletes, that the way that it's able to produce kids. My son's transformation over 2 years from pulling the medications and swapping Acemannan, I actually had to back half of the products off of him because it was too much, to be honest. His testosterone was going through the roof. He didn't need the balance, to be honest. His hormones were great.
Balance was a surprise for me. That was one of my favorite products. I browsed right past that. I was like, I don't need hormone support. My hormones are fine. And then I started hearing everyone else talk about it and the testimonies from other other people, and it's for men and women, not just
Yeah.
women, but
I take it every day.
and I will never not take it every day.
100%. So some of myself being 300 pounds, 15 body fat back in the past, about 12, 15 years ago, my hormones were completely jacked. I had liver problems, been constantly having to get blood work done over the years, couldn't figure out how to get things fixed. When balance came to the table, I'll tell you what, I have not really presented a lot of this, but my liver enzymes used to be screaming in the high 170s, close to 200. When you start getting 250, 300, you start looking at severe liver problems and you start climbing in the thing up there, you're looking at cirrhosis eventually, fatty liver, toxic, what is it? Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is what I've got, or tissue anyway, from being so overweight and not taking care of myself for so long. So for me, Alovéa not only has given me purpose with my coaching and allowed me to heal my kids and allow me to help about 50 or 60 people. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I've helped 250,000 people. And I've helped honestly about 200 people change their life. And I've helped about 30 people. That's huge. Love that. But it's not to discredit it, but it's like, for me personally, it's just different. Alovéa has honestly brought me to where I am. It's made me into who I am. It's given me a reason and a direct purpose for helping other people. I initially used to think my initial purpose for helping other people was personal training. What is that? Athletic training. I'm sorry. I wanted to be an athletic trainer. I started at college as an athletic trainer. I wanted to tape people because I didn't see myself being an athletic shaped guy. I didn't see myself being the sports guy. I played football at the time, severely overweight, breaking down. I could sense it. I knew my career was coming to an end. I didn't think I was going to do anything about it. So I wanted to be the guy that could help other people prevent themselves from getting hurt, because being the overweight guy, never had ankle problems, never had knee issues, never had hip problems. It was all in my shoulders from being so large and trying to brace myself when I would fall. So if I could help other people prevent themselves from getting hurt, that was my purpose for helping other people. What Alovéa taught me was not only could I still help people, but it helped me from being the broken version that I was. And over the course of these years, every single year has given me a new insight, a new reason to help other people. Personal training came out of nowhere. Coaching came out of nowhere, the opportunities. And it's because of Alovéa. It's the way that the company is structured. It's the way that the communities are structured. It drives you to want to be that better person. It drives you to want to have that connection and community with people. But for you personally as well, since being in this for 2 years and diving more into these molecules, these products, how has your character, how has your demeanor, how is your approach to your life struggles, how has that changed incorporating some of your favorite products like the Fix? I know before the call you were a little stressed out and getting hey-oh, shout out. How has the products in the last 2 years, or even in the last 6 months, more recently, doesn't matter, how have the products in general helped you overcome anxiety, stress, your depression, those triggers that you had a harder time maybe overcoming in the past?
Well, it's like Teresa said, I believe God brought it into my hands. I did not seek this out. Like, I wasn't looking for Acemannan, found me. And at the beginning of all of this, when it found me, I was at the beginning of my health journey, like just trying to bulletproof my immune system and become the healthiest, best, strongest version of myself. And these products allow me to be that person, but also just even talking about the balance. I didn't know my hormones needed regulating until I regulated them and noticed the difference from A to B. And the Fix helps with the anxiety and lowering your cortisol. It's got the Acemannan. It's also got ashwagandha. And I am so proud to be part of a company that cares so much about the quality of their ingredients and where they are sourced from. And I know Steve Burns is really good about that, and he takes that very seriously. And I have started reading the labels on everything. I read my food labels. I read my beauty product labels. I read the clothing tags on the fabric that I wear these days. I have become very particular and very picky. But I just feel like Acemannan and Alovéa has become such a huge part of that. And I just want everybody to jump on board and to experience what we're experiencing, and the energy levels and I don't get sick. And people laugh at me when I say that, but like, I'm supporting my body from the inside out. I'm supporting my immune system. And like we've talked about before, like everything starts in the gut. Like core is a non-negotiable for me every day.
Yes. And speaking of which, I have 3 children. And when you speak about sickness and all of that, my 16-year-old son being around the high school and everything brings home a lot of those germs. My twin daughters being homeschooled for the last 5 years. We just recently transitioned them into school, which is going phenomenal. Thank you, Jesus. But the Acemannan, that new Alovéa AE powder that came out, which is equivalent to the Mighty Milk that we talk about, that we give to the kids in Mexico and around the world, that Sam Castor was offering these kids in orphanages before we even knew who Sam Castor was, saving lives, changing the direction of orphanages, losses of children's lives over the course of years. It's absolutely incredible. But knowing that my kids, my daughters especially, myself, we, like you said, we don't get sick. And when we do, it's a quick 6 to 12 hour turnaround. I can tell when I get sick. I'm not Superman, but I can tell it's like, let me double check. Okay, a little bit of a stuff, but let's see how I feel. So I take I'll pop a little bit more, but
because it's non-toxic.
Yes, and you can just you can sense it's there, and then when you walk out into public, you go meet up with your friend Brian or Angie or whoever they might be, and they're, oh man, everybody's sick right now, and it's like, not everybody,
gone.
not everybody.
Not that I had terrible allergies, but seasonal allergies gone.
Yes,
don't miss those.
A huge one for a lot of people too. When I tell people about Acemannan and what it does for the body, the way it communicates and opens up the communications, some of the first relieving symptoms that you experience are your nasal breathing symptoms because of the lower amount of stress that needs to leave your body and the inflammation, just to open up your breathing canal, to open up your body's ability to oxidate your bloodstream, to allow the oxygen to flow properly. Mine flows like nuts. I'm just, love it. I'm putting Acemannan in my body all day long. And when I don't put it in my body for even 1 or 2 days, you start to notice it. You really start to notice the difference. You don't start to tank. You just notice the difference. So when you mentioned it's a lifestyle, the same thing for me. I'm blessed in the sense that Alovéa has a pros program and not just a pros program, the ability to get all of your products and all of whatever you want for free every month by sharing this with your friends and family, and they share it with their friends. The connections and the networking, you guys, is so deep. We'll do another video on that because everyone should really know how amazing this company is and how much they want to give back. But for you personally, where do you see these products leading you into life coaching? Where do you see when someone calls you, I'm calling you up, hey Erin, I've got some things going on in my life. I just cannot get the stress to go away. I'm struggling right now. Everything is crashing down, Erin. And I saw your video, and I feel like you're really getting through things. Like, what is there something that I'm missing? Is there something you can offer me, Erin, that could help with me? What is it?
So the goal at this point is to build this into my own personal brand, and I'm still figuring out how life coaching fits into that and how to package that and what that looks like. But I feel like Alovéa covers the physical health part of it. Life coaching will address the emotional and mental health and how all of that ties together and how all of that affects each other. In the life coach training that I did, we learned that 4 minutes of anger will lessen your immune system for up to 4 to 6 hours. And one thought, we have 24,000 genes, right? One single thought has the power to turn on and off like 1,000 different genes. And wow. There is a doctor whose name is escaping me right now, talked about how only like 1 to 2% of disease and chronic illness is genetic. And most of it stems from the trauma and the emotions and the things that we don't deal with, that we push down until it manifests into something physical and says, hey, pay attention to me.
We have, what's the saying? We all have 99 problems until we only have one.
Until your health becomes one, and then health is the only problem.
Exactly it. If life coaching becomes that ultimate explosion, and I don't mean to tell people that all of a sudden you're this renowned life coach, but
I'm open to exploring that door.
I fully believe you are walking into that season.
There's a girl that I follow on Instagram, and she does something very similar, and hers is all rooted in Jesus, and she refers to herself as a Christian neuroscience something or other. And that is really the direction that I feel that I'm being pulled in.
I love that. Mentor, my business coach, Mike Carnevale, who I had on last week, he mentioned the same thing for me at one point. He's like, Duane, maybe your niche is reaching out to specifically Christian men and women. And honestly, that's something I've contemplated with and toyed with only because I am a very interpersonal relationship person with my clients. I have a hard time building relationships with anybody that I'm not in business with. But once you hand me your money, I'm all yours. Like, you got every access to me as a coach. And that's what I love about coaching. That's where the relationship really starts to build, is when I know someone really wants to work with me. And that's
the key too. They have to want the help, because we can only meet people as far as they are willing to meet themselves. And
so with that,
the saying goes that a customer will become a friend faster than a friend will become a customer.
Yes, 100%. I love that saying. That's another thing too, is you'll find with my conversations with everybody in Alovéa, we've all got a lot of really great sayings, because we go to a lot of great trainings together. We have a lot of great accessible resources that we can all access. The people in this company are not just average Joe people who don't care. They're not people you can't access. Didn't you just say that when you got off the plane in Mexico, the founder, CEO, owner, Sam Castor, was right there? He's at every event, you guys. The people that you typically won't see in other companies, this 25-year-old billion-dollar company, whatever it's worth, millions of dollars. I don't care what the company is worth. We're debt-free. We're saving kids' lives. But we're about 25 years old, and the people that are still at the top of this company, who run this company, who founded it, they're at every event. They are in your face. You can text them. You can get a hold of them. They want to be your friend. They want to help watch you succeed. I've never had anything like this in my life. But with this, Erin,
they're accessible.
Yes. Who do you feel most called to help with your calling, though? Like, if you walked into this, like, is there a certain niche of people that you feel called to help, or are you just a lover and a giver of all?
Lover and a giver of all, but like I said, it has to be someone who is open to that and willing to receive the help and ready for the help. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. And I don't really have a niche or a specific focus right now. And maybe that will come as we start to make moves and move in that direction. But I had something else I was going to say and I lost it.
That's okay. Like I said, this is not to put pressure or anything on anybody, or you yourself included. This is more so to highlight opportunities that are coming to other people through what I believe are the gifts and the abilities that the people on the other side of this phone call have. One of
the takeaways from the life coach that I did is the whole purpose of being a life coach is helping people chart out that path of where you are versus where you want to be, what obstacles are in the way, and how do you overcome those obstacles, and building a plan to do that, to get from A to B. 100%. And one of the things he said, and turns out I had no idea when I signed up for this initial life coaching. I was skeptical, but I was also curious, and I was like, hey, maybe I'll take away something for myself. I found it to be hugely beneficial for myself. And one of the key takeaways stuck with me was, he said, none of us are going to make it out of here alive. We're all going to die. And when it's your time to go, you're going to shake hands with either your potential or a discounted version of yourself. Awesome. And I don't want to shake hands with a discounted version of myself.
No. And the more aggressive side of me used to say, I don't want to be average. Is the top of the bad and bottom of the good. So I like it. I like the way you presented that. It's a little less toxic and aggressive, but when I leave out of here, I want to know that my legacy means something to the people behind, and that I left something meaningful to my kids, especially. I left a purpose and a path for them to continue on.
And he also stresses, like, you don't make a change when it's a want or a should. You make a change when it's a must. So you really have to assess where you're at and what is it costing you to stay there? What is it costing you today? What is it costing you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And what does it look like if you make those changes and take those steps to get to where you want to be tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And the whole procrastination, I feel like there's so many of us that procrastinate. When I was in that training, there was people from 8 different countries, and we're all struggling with the same things. We're all striving for perfection and waiting until it's right, or waiting till I have more value, or waiting till I have more knowledge or more experience or XYZ, when we can start right now with what we have.
That's awesome.
And it was just
Ben, I just want to say, Ben Sully, thanks for jumping on, brother. We'll chat soon. Send me a message if you'd like some more information, and I'll reach out to you as well on some of that research background information, Acemannan, and what it can do for multiple sclerosis. Erin, before we jump into the last segment here, I wanted to touch real quick too. Since you are an Alovéa Pro and you are a yoga instructor, that's how you became a pro. So you are, until that first year of Alovéa Pro status is up, you are still a pro. To what would qualifying for a second year as a Alovéa PRO, whether it be through yoga instructing, whether it be through life coaching, knowing that you qualify eventually as a second-year pro in the company by helping other people, what would that mean? You're already part of Alovéa. You're already saving children. You're creating a ripple event. You're sharing the products. You're becoming more confident. You're becoming a better person. You're walking this walk with God. But now, like myself, the power of what it means to put that other cape on of Alovéa PRO, become a second-year pro, knowing that now it's tied to a deeper purpose. Does that mean something more to you? Does that give you more drive to want to walk into that new life of potentially being a life coach?
Confirms that I'm doing something right, and that it'll help my ripple grow, and it will help me help as many people as possible. And one of the other, because I have many hats that I wear, one of the other industries that I've been working in for the past 10 years is events and promotions. And if I can promote other brands that are paying me, I can do the same thing with myself and with Alovéa. And that is an avenue that I would like to explore, is vending at the gyms and talking to the other instructors and personal trainers and coaches and XYZ, and trying to bring them on board. That's and awesome. Introduce them to this, and just stepping out of my shell more and using my voice.
Yes. So with
not
that,
being afraid of rejection, and just the people that want to hear it, that need to hear it, that are ready to hear it, are going to hear it. And the ones that aren't quite there yet, well, they might need to hear it a couple of times. They might need to hear it from a stranger on the internet. They might need that third-party validation. And
absolutely.
It's not something that is personal to me. So
I had to see this 3.5 months long, and I think I was at 7 different events through Cole Wilhelm before I finally said I pulled the trigger on December 31st at 11:50 p.m. because I found out I could write off pretty much the entire year on my taxes for owning a business. So I was like, hey, let's do it. And I have never looked back. So I have been writing off my taxes every year ever since, and it has been the greatest tax write-off in the history of my life, and it has really changed things. That's honestly why I signed up. And then when I started losing weight and getting healthy, the rest is history. And you see where I'm at now and why I love this. But 1 year from now, Erin, whether it's a life coaching business or just the overall gift life with Erin, where in 1 year from now, where do you see that? Where do you see the overall gift life with Erin? What do you see that being? What is that for you?
I would like to see it as an established brand and some familiarity with it, and just expanding my ripple. And like I've said, help as many people as I can help, whether that's friends, families, strangers, children, people that I might never meet.
That's awesome. What part of stepping into that identity scares you the most, though?
So one of the things we talked about in this life coach training is we have emotional needs that we seek to have met throughout our relationships, throughout our lives. And when those needs are not met, we assign a negative meaning to that, and then we attach a negative emotion to that. And that is what dictates our behavior and how we move through the world. And all of that is stored in our subconscious, which is running the show 90% of the time. And something that I took it upon myself to do, not an activity that was prompted, just me trying to reflect and take inventory of my own self and my own life to get the most out of what I was going through. One morning, I just started jotting down the traumatic things that have happened to me. And I started with a few, but once you get going, like, more things start to come back, and more things and more things. And I stopped after I hit 3 full pages. But while I was doing that, one of the things that came back to me was a phrase that I heard as a child that I haven't thought about in decades. And it was, children are meant to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
And I know I'm not the only one that's heard that. One of our needs, our emotional needs, there are 9 of them, and I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but being seen, being heard, being understood, being validated are at the top of that list. And so when we are first born through about age 7, we don't have a separation of ourselves and the world yet. So we're just absorbing everything like a little sponge. And so that seed obviously planted itself somewhere in my subconscious, and without realizing it, I've been operating from that for a long time. And think becoming aware of that, I've already noticed myself in conversations since then being more bold about sharing this and not being afraid of being heard. My words have value. I know what I'm talking about, and I don't gatekeeping that information is not helping anyone. It's not serving anyone. And I've always been a student. I love to learn. I love to be learning new things, but that only goes as far as you apply it. Like, if you learn all this information and you don't do anything with it, what good is it?
Yes. And to highlight one of the attributes of you, to be honest, I had to jump